Hi, welcome to today's episode of Make It Work. I am Ochoba Okama Ochoba, your regular host. Here in this program, Make It Work, we learn how we can make anything work. Whether it is your marriage, your relationship, your business, your career, and every pursuit of yours, we learn how to make it work. In this program, Make It Work, we understand and we agree that nothing works unless someone works it. And so it is our duty in this program to always share with us how we can make anything work. And I want you to understand that whatever it is that you want to make it work can work. And so in this program, we learn how to make anything work. And if you follow up in this program, in the previous and the subsequent episodes, you'll be able to learn how to make anything work. And today we're looking at organizational shift. Organizational shift has always been a challenge to organizations because some systems are built in such a way that they are resistant to change. You discover that businesses do not move from levels to levels and careers do not thrive. So organizational shift is a necessary action for any business, any system, any nation, or whatever you are doing or you want to do, whether it is career, whether it is business, to be able to have or break even or move to the next level or advance. So organizational shift deals with the movement, upward movement of organizations, businesses, ventures, in fact, pursuits. Whatever it is that you are involved in, you can on your own call it an organization. Whether it is your business, your company, your government organization or non-governmental organization, whatever it is that you lay your hand upon is an organization. So that there has to be a shift. And I want you to understand that the success of every organization is in the movement of such organization, their capacity to thrive, their capacity to transcend, to move, to transit from level to level, to grow. Because part and one of the characteristics of living things is the capacity to grow. And if something is not growing, it is not responding, it is not thriving, it is not becoming, it's not evolving, it's not achieving the desired result if it is not growing. And if it is not producing result or fruit, then it is working against its purpose. Organizational shift, therefore, deals with the achievement of result, the accomplishment of desired goal, and the productive capacity and the productivity of organizations. So how do you stimulate progress in an organization? Because for there to be an organizational shift, there has to be, a stimulation. But just before then, an interesting story took place in the Bible in Mark chapter 11, verse 12 to 14 and verse 20. Jesus with his disciples were on a path. They found a fig tree that had leaves, and they went there to get some fruits. And they got there, the fig tree didn't have fruits, but it had leaves. So Jesus and his men felt that the fact that the fig tree had leaves, at the same time, it should have capacity to produce, but it couldn't. So Jesus was angry and then had to curse the tree, and it withered. Any organization that appears to have leaves or appears to be existing but does not produce fruits is living less than its expected purpose, is not fulfilling its mandate, is not fulfilling its purpose, and is not thriving. The essence of organizations, business, and ventures is to produce fruits, achieve desired result, and then grow. So Jesus, in that action, had established that the requirement or the expectation of every tree was to bear fruit. So for that to happen, there has to be a stimulation. And that's why in another story, they reported to Jesus about a tree that was not producing fruit, and Jesus said, dig around it. When you dig around it, you are going to create room for it to thrive. So in the first example, Jesus expected result. In the second example, Jesus provided that there were some things that needed to be done for result to be achieved, which had to do with digging around the tree. So to dig around the tree in order to achieve result is like stimulating progress for an organizational shift. So dig around it, Jesus said. That's in the second example of a tree that was reluctant to bear fruit. So every organization has to be stimulated for there to be an organizational shift. And to achieve that, a lot of things need to be in place. Number one, for you to stimulate progress for organizational shift or for greater productivity and result, you need to learn to try new things. Now, even if you cannot predict the outcomes, you don't sit still. Try new things. So try something new. It's important that you try something new so that you can achieve new results. New results respond to new technologies. New results respond to new approaches. New results respond to new strategies. So try something new. If the first wasn't working, now look for something new. Again, to stimulate progress for organizational shift or to achieve greater productivity or result, it's important that you begin to make room for mistakes. Accept mistakes and failures as part of the process of stimulating organizational progress. Now, many people do not make room for mistakes. And in fact, many people do not even accept or agree that making mistake is part of the roadmap towards achieving result in any organization. So make room for mistakes. The first time you try, you might not get it and things might not exactly work the way you had expected that they work, but don't be discouraged. Don't be perplexed. Make room for mistakes and accept that mistakes are part of the things, the necessary ingredients for you to make progress. Another thing you need to do is to begin to take small incremental steps. Small incremental steps. Now, always take upward steps gradually. So this forms part of the build-up or the building block towards the organizational shift. Take small incremental steps. Always be on the path of progress. Let it be that at every point there is something you are doing that is moving the organization to the next level. Make sure that there is a contribution you are making consistently towards achieving greater results and greater productivity. Again, you need to learn in an organization to decentralize and give people room to act. Learn to decentralize. When you decentralize, it gives your workers, the workforce, and those with you the opportunity to develop independent mindset, independent ideas, and independent approaches towards achieving whatever you want to achieve. So it's very important that you begin to learn how to decentralize and give people room to act. And finally, for you to stimulate progress for organizational shift, because organizational shift is compulsory. It's important that there's an organizational shift. So finally, for you to be able to stimulate organizational shift or begin to make progress, you need to begin to build functional structures. There are structures that naturally, by the way they are designed, cannot thrive. So you need to begin to build functional structures. So always put structures in place, structures with capacity to sustain the institution or the organization. There are institutions that have collapsed because of the structures that exist in such institutions. But there are institutions that have thrived or succeeded over the years, that have lasted over the years because of the structures that are in place. So build functional structures. And when you build structures, you must be able to live up to the ideals of those structures. And then if any structure is not working, then make sure you begin to work on the structure. We are dealing with structures, you are dealing with roles, you are dealing with responsibilities, you are dealing with routine, and how they are emphasized and the values that are backing them are very important towards the achievement of any organizational goal. And friends, like I've said, learn to build functional structures. There are several structures that are self-defeating and some that are self-contradicting. If your structure is self-defeating and your structure is self-contradicting, you will not achieve organizational goal. You can't lead, you can't succeed in the organization, and you can't move anything forward. So learn to build structures that are functional and structures that can last. And let your ideas, the values that you've emphasized in your existing structures, be such that it will have capacity to sustain that organization. Having said this, I want you to understand that there are organizations that are lasted over centuries, over decades, and there are some that cannot last. The reason is very simple. How they built their structures. So if you build a functional structure, you are sure that your organization is going to last. So whatever it is, whether it is your life, whether it is your relationship, whether it's your career, your business, whatever it is that does not have functional structures will not last. It will collapse. So learn to build functional structures in your relationship, in your marriage, in your business, in your career, in your academics, in your leadership, in your organization, in your institution. Ensure that the structures have capacity to survive and that they are sustainable. With this, the institution will be able to last. Progress will be made, results will be achieved, and your productivity ratio will be at a higher level. Thank you for being part of today's episode of Make It Work. I want you to know that Make It Work is designed for you to succeed and accomplish whatever you want to achieve. And so I want you to join us in our subsequent episodes and be part of what is happening in this program. Thank you for listening, and God bless you.